I'm Pattu from freefincal. Today, let's talk about how to time the market with gilt mutual funds, or is it even possible? Is it possible to get better returns or lower risk with gilt mutual funds? Recall that I talked about market timing with gold, market timing with equity, using double moving averages, using 6-month moving averages, using 12-month moving averages, and so on. So we're going to try and do the same with gilt mutual funds and find out if that works. So the first picture that I have, well, before I begin, I must say the usual disclaimer. You should first understand how gilt mutual funds work. You must you must understand the volatility associated with the long duration government bonds. You must understand that it's possible to get negative returns over even a few years. But I have also shown over the long term, it's quite beneficial to do an SIP in a long-term gilt fund, and it has worked very well. So a systematic approach is good enough for many people. But if somebody wants to do a little bit extra and time the market and so on, let's find out if that's possible. So once I complete this study, I want to combine all four asset classes, that is equity, gold, gilts, and cash, and include timing rules for all of them and find out how that works together. So the first graph we're going to look at is the IBEX, the composite gilt index. That's the blue line. The red line is the 12-month moving average of the IBEX. The green line is the 6-month moving average. The dotted line is the buy-sell signal, and it tells you when the dotted line is 1 on the top, it tells you when the 6-month moving average is greater than the 12-month moving average. That is, the green line is bigger than the red line, higher than the red line. At that time, we go all in and buy gilts. We sell all the cash and move into gilts. And when the 6-month moving average becomes lower than the 12-month moving average, we sell all the gilts and move into cash. That's the initial plan. And but if you notice straight away, if you do this without even back testing, I will tell you the signal most of the time is basically 1. This is because the gilt index is moving up, and most of the time the 6-month average is greater than the 12-month average. So it's not possible to do any kind of timing with this kind of indicator for gilt funds. So what we do is to use the yield of the 10-year government bond. The yield is inversely proportional to the price. And what we have done is to take the yield and take the inverse of the yield. And that becomes the bond PE. Just like you take the Nifty PE and you take the inverse of the Nifty PE, then it becomes what is known as the earnings yield of equity. Similarly, you already have the bond earning yield. You take that yield and invert it, you will get the bond PE. And notice that whenever the bond PE increases, the gilt index moves up, and when it falls down, it doesn't do much, and so on. And it's a lot more sensitive index than the actual price of the gilt index as well. That is, the bond yield is much more sensitive. So we're going to use the 10-year bond yield. And this is the again the blue line is a 10-year bond PE. The 12 line is the red line. Sorry, the red line is the 12-month moving average of the bond PE. The green line is the 6-month moving average of the bond PE, and the indicator tells you the dotted line. When the dotted line is 1, it tells you that's when you buy gilts. That is when the 6-month moving average is greater than the 12-month moving average. And then the inverse, when it becomes less, you sell off the gilts. So we're going to use this as the initial timing indicator, and we're going to do a tactical back test. And so this is the tactical back test. I'm going to keep my face out for this. On a result of the tactical back tests, so we have about 78 data points in every colored line here, and this is over 10-year periods. No, this is over 15-year periods, excuse me. And we have about 78 data points here. And you can see, if I use the method of 6-month moving average and 12-month moving average, the systematic SIP in a gilt, that's the top blue line here, the XIRR of the systematic approach is always greater than the XIRR of the tactical approach. This is the top left panel here, and on the top right panel you have what is known as the maximum drawdown. The blue is the maximum drawdown of the systematic approach, and the red line is the maximum drawdown of the tactical approach. Maximum drawdown means how much the portfolio fell from a peak. So the maximum drawdown must be a low negative number. So a maximum drawdown of about -8, -7% is better than -9% or -10%. So although the tactical approach is given a lower return all the time, although a tactical approach is given a lower return all the time, the drawdown has been lower, so the risk has been lower. On the bottom left, you have the volatility or the standard deviation. Higher the number, higher the volatility or the price fluctuations every month, and the tactical has always got a lower volatility because you're moving into cash, and that's always to be expected. And in the bottom right panel, that here you have the maximum number of continuous months the portfolio was underwater. That is, the portfolio fell from, let's say, rupees 100, and let's say it was always below 100 for the next 6 months continuously, then that value will be 6 here. So again, here lower is better, and the tactical approach has led to a lower number of months where it is lower than the maximum, and that's good. The risk is better. So what I would suggest is, this is not an easy graph to understand if you're a newbie. So I would suggest you pause the screen right now, or you go to the article and you look at it once, and then you will be able to appreciate it better. So instead of doing this doesn't seem to work too well. So we do a little bit of a different approach. What we do is we buy gilts when the bond PE is greater than both the 6 months average and the 12 months average, and we sell the gilt when the bond PE becomes less than both the 6-month average and the 12-month average. And if you do that, then if you use the value of the bond PE as well as the both the moving averages, then you are able to get a return via the tactical approach, which is much better. The return is much better all the time. The maximum drawdown is not as different. The volatility is not as different, but the number of months the portfolio is underwater, that is below a peak, is significantly lower. So a little bit of better risk management, and definitely a improvement in returns via this method. Instead of doing this, if you can just use the 6-month moving average, that is, if the bond PE becomes greater than the 6-month moving average, you buy gilts. If the bond PE becomes less than the 6-month moving average, you sell gilts. And then if you do that, then you are able to get even slightly more or less the same impact. You get continuously the XIRR of the tactical approach is slightly better, but not as much as in the old case when you use both moving averages. It's slightly better, but it's all right. I mean, it's still possible. There's some kind of risk management, slight marginal improvement in the marginal benefit in the number of continuous months underwater, but not as much. So using both moving averages and the combination of the bond PE, that is, if you use the bond PE, you buy gilts when bond PE is greater than both 6 and 12-month averages, and you sell gilts when it is less than both 6 and 12-month averages. That gives you the best mix of return enhancement and risk reduction. So it's definitely possible to do it. You're able to get even better results with 3 months moving average, but when you get 3 months moving average, the number of times you have to buy and sell becomes twice as much as with 6 months using 6 and 12-month moving average. Therefore, that's not too, you'll be always paying a lot of tax and so on. So definitely it's possible to time the purchase of gilts using the bond PE, but whether it's for everyone, that's a different matter. So that's what I wanted to say in this video. This is a tough video to understand, but let me know if you have any problems. Thanks. Bye-bye.